What is going on, guys? I am your boy Sally, and today I am back bringing you another episode of Nerdy Rants. This is basically a series where I sit down and talk about comic book related topics, movie related topics, just things that I feel like I could personally give my 2 cents on, not as like an expert or anything along those lines, but literally just as a fan, as a self-proclaimed film buff, as a lover of movies, a lover of comic books, and that sort of thing. So I literally talk to you guys for ranging between like 5 to 20 minutes for some of the episodes, just literally about my opinions on things, and then we sort of potentially get a discussion in the comments about them as well. And today's one, as you can see by the title, is the Star Wars Rogue One reshoot and the whole mass hysteria after that and the negative reaction we've seen from the announcement of the reshoots. So personally, I felt from the trailer and what we've seen so far that Star Wars Rogue One just looks incredible. It looks like the perfect idea for an anthology movie because it completely fits everything together. It starts off before episode 4 and ties up the loose ends of what happened in episode 3 and episode 4 with how everything began effectively. This is going to be the film that reveals to the world how everything came to place in terms of the Star Wars franchise. So what's understandable is the fact that so many people have such high hopes for the franchise, and that sort of links to the whole worry, mass hysteria side of things. What I don't get is the fact that reshoots are so commonplace in Hollywood that it is unreal. Like, practically every sort of A-list film has had a reshoot for something along those lines, and obviously what they've announced in detail now is that they felt the producer or the director rather, and the screenwriter weren't really on the same page for what was going on. Like, they haven't directed it completely to how the story was supposed to be written, and that's what Disney have officially announced. But the whole point of these reshoots is to tie up the loose ends, to avoid any issues from what's been written and what's been directed, and just to basically smooth things over between the two. They'll both be on set for the direction of the reshoots, and they'll both basically be on the same page for everything. And what a lot of people are now thinking is sort of along the same lines as me, is that it's going to make it from what was potentially a good film to an even better film. Because that's the whole point of the reshoot, is to improve something, to make a slight change that could potentially be a bad one. We have no idea, but honestly, I'm still so excited for this movie. It is unreal. Watching like my trailer reaction back, it didn't really do much justice for how excited I am. Seeing the AT-ATs, seeing a bit of like modern human culture involved in it was quite awesome as well, in terms of the samurai style character. Seeing what's her name, Mon Mothma back. I probably butchered that pronunciation. What is her name? I actually had it up a second ago. It is, yeah, Mon Mothma, sorry. Apologies for butchering the character's name, but she's back in it. We see a younger version of her character from the original trilogy, and the actress they had playing her in Revenge of the Sith for her sort of cameo in that is actually back to play her in this film as well. So that looks really, really awesome. I really love the fact that we sort of see this young Imperial director, whatever you'd call him, sort of a Grand Moff Tarkin sort of character who we saw in the trailer. He looked really awesome, and just there's so much that could go so well for this movie. There's so much that could go wrong, but then that's always the case with movies and franchises that are so really sought after. They have a massive fan base, and Star Wars is, the fans of Star Wars are absolute nutcases. Like, if things go wrong in these movies, we saw it with the prequels and the special editions of the original trilogies, that people go nuts. People basically riot over this sort of thing, and yeah, that sort of adds to why people were a bit worried when they first announced reshoots. But the only reason it was made such a big deal out of, because as I said before, reshoots are so commonplace in Hollywood and on practically every sort of high budget film nowadays, is because it is, one, such a massive franchise. There's so many high hopes raining on this movie, and the fact that it is now owned by Disney as well, so the audience grew from Disney's like buyout of Lucasfilm, and the fact that they've already released a film that had sort of mixed reviews. A lot of people were complaining it was too similar to the original trilogy, And a lot of people were going on about how they loved it. It was like the perfect film to bring the franchise back. It was basically needed for the fanboys. That's the route I went down, because I wasn't around to watch the premieres for the first 3. Obviously, they were brought out so long before I was born, but yeah, but I'm just genuinely excited. I'm not worried at all by the fact that they're doing reshoots or things like that. Because like I said before, it's not an uncommon thing. It's not strange for them to do reshoots, but I understand why people are worried about the reshoots. But I've always put my faith in the directors. I've always put my faith in people creating the movie to do their best, because they're not going to go out to make a crappy film. It just makes no sense. They're not going to go out to disappoint fans. And Gareth Edwards, hoping that he stays for the other anthology movies as well. I'm not like too familiar with his work, but just knowing that from what we've seen so far, he's done this well with it, just from the shots used in the trailer. The way the whole trailer was brought together just looked absolutely awesome. So I'm really excited to see what happens with the rest of the film. And yeah, I'm not worried at all, like I said. But give me your opinions down below. Are you guys nervous about these reshoots? Do you think they're a bad thing? Do you think they're a good thing? Or just give me your 2 cents on the situation, because that's the whole point of Nerdy Rants. That's the whole idea behind it, is to sort of get a debate going, get your guys' opinions on things, as well as you guys sitting down and listening to mine. And that's the whole point of me doing this. But like I said, I am exceptionally excited for this film. I can't wait to see what the cast does, because Felicity Jones has needed a breakout film for so long. She's been such an amazing actress in all the things she's done, but she's literally been that supporting role to the side of the main characters, and it'll be so nice to see her do her thing and just be the main character in something. And what I saw from the trailers was that she's really into the character. She really fits the Star Wars universe well, which is surprising considering the other role she's played. But yeah, I'm not worried at all. I'm so excited for this. I'm kind of slightly more excited for this than I was for The Force Awakens, which I know is bad for a Star Wars fan to say, but the whole premise behind this anthology movie is to effectively let us know how everything started. So yeah, that is my opinion. That is it. I hope you guys did enjoy. Apologies for it being quite repetitive, but there isn't too much you can talk about with this. It's literally a case of you think one way, another person will think another, and the fact that people were nervous is understandable, but it sort of makes no sense, because these literally happen for every movie that's ever made, and the whole point of them is to improve things. But yeah, that is it. This has been Nerdy Rant episode 5. As always, I've been your boy Sully. Always remember to like, comment and subscribe, and peace.